Virgin Galactic just announced that they will raise $1 billion. Ooh, exactly. It spooks away a lot of people, specifically those who just joined or don't really understand what's going on. But guess what? I'm here to support and help because I'm the super explainer. So make sure to subscribe and hit and smash that like button out of orbit, okay? I really appreciate that, and make sure to ring the bell so you get notified for every single new video. I'm just traveling tomorrow to Europe, so there will be lots and lots of new videos coming and I can't wait, okay? Anyway, so just after the market closed, after a crazy week on the stock market, let me actually show you how crazy it was. In the last week alone, space gained over 30%, okay? This is ridiculous. This is absolutely outstanding. And we knew it that this will happen, okay? And over the last couple of weeks, you can see from the 14th of May or even prior to that, let's say 13 was like the current low. I think intraday we went even to 14. Since then we gained 101%. And as you can see, after hours the stock went down 3.62% because usually after this announcement of capital raise, usually stocks go down, okay? Because there's dilution, there's, the company, you have to imagine that the company is issuing and producing out of thin air new shares and giving it to the market. So that means you have the same amount of shares, but it's less percent of all shares outstanding, right? Because there's now much more shares out there. So your percentage of the company is going a little bit down. This is what people don't like that much, but hey, it is what it is, all right? So just live with it and you will be a very happy person. Market cap $7.5 billion. Now you can imagine 1/7 of a company they raise in money, okay? Now I want to play a couple of scenarios with you because, I do my homework. So first of all, let's dive into what kind of raise of capital this could be, okay? They announced as a shelf raise of capital, which is basically they are producing the shares and putting on the shelf, okay? So anytime they feel they like the course, they need the money, whatever, they can take out the shares out of the shelf, so to speak, and put it on the market so people can buy it. There's also an interesting theory. Maybe some of the shareholders want to increase their stake, and maybe there are even some prearranged, let's say, agreements with the original shareholders that they can purchase, let's say, in the year 2021, additional share for a specific price. This could also be, okay? But in general, let's focus more on the $1 billion because with $1 billion, you can imagine can happen a lot, okay? Now, let's say, a very obvious conclusion for many of those people out there would be, okay, they are building a spaceport, okay? Let's have a look how much of a spaceport you would get when you would invest $1 billion, okay? So if we are actually looking into construction costs of the spaceport in America, you will see that it was a $200 million investment, which is not that bad, right? So let's say they will use this money only for a new spaceport. They could build 5 of them, okay? 5 spaceports. Now, you have to imagine that this spaceport was built by taxpayers' money by the state of New Mexico, which is a great business move by Richard Branson back then, saying, we come to the US, but make sure we have a badass spaceport out there. And I mean, the spaceport just looks so beautiful. It looks like a spaceship just landed, okay? So here's one option, okay? So they could say, okay, we need that much because we will announce that we are building 5 spaceports. Imagine that, That's number one. Second, and to be very transparent, guys, that they have about $600 million in the bank. they are, burning $60 million per quarter. While, doing the operations, while building spaceships and so on and so forth. And they are basically out of money in 2.5 years, right? So easy math, 10 quarters is, 4 quarters is 1 year, 2.5 years, okay? So they might think, okay, we want to increase the production of the spaceships. So when we don't make too much money in, like, to be honest, guys, they will not make $60 million maybe until per quarter that they burn until maybe I would say end of 2022, okay? Maybe 2023 even, all right, beginning. Because think about it. Let's say one spaceship will make in the beginning $1 million per passenger, so $6 million kind of, let's say, revenue per flight. So they would need to make 10 flights per quarter to just have the same revenue as they spent. Now the costs go up and also the cost per flight is there. So we can assume that they have from 6 million, they might have, maybe 3-4 million as like a gross profit that you can count. So they actually need to make 12 or more flights per quarter to offset the current burn, right? Did I do the math right? Yeah, approximately. A little bit more, maybe. 15 it is. So you can see here that it's really, really, really important for them to start the operation. But until then, they have enough money in the bank. They doing all of these things like, building the operation, building the spaceships. So I think that there might be something different because even when you build this spaceport, if you double the amount of expenditure, they will have enough money to do something even bigger. So let's say they build a spaceport. So they will announce some crazy stuff and they will build their own spaceport for $200 million. Okay. Let's count another 50 million for the land that they have to purchase or lease. So let's say 250 million from the 1 billion, which is $1,000 million is going to a spaceport. So 1 quarter is done. Another, $500,000 goes into the operation to ensure liquidity of cash of at least until 2024 or even longer, okay? And even with increased operation costs like building more spaceships and so on and so forth, even then you still have $250 million and I have no idea what they are planning. So there must be something, guys. There must be something. I just can't imagine that there's not something they plan big. And now coming to the original question, is it good or not? Of course, it's mind-blowing actually, okay? It's mind-blowing what Virgin Galactic actually is doing right now in front of the plane side, all right? So they must either, plan something, to variate the current product and offer, maybe a different spaceship to go to the ISS, like, as it's already mentioned on the website. You can go on the website and go, register that you want to go to the ISS. So maybe that, or they're going into the other project. You remember this Concorde, like very slim airplane that will bring you from New York to London or London to New York in 90 minutes? Maybe it's that, okay? So it's really, really, really interesting what's going on. Now, to figure out if it's one of them, well, the first part, if it's, a variation of the product, I cannot really tell and it would be too much speculation. But what we could do, and it's not like an apple to apple, but it's like a, round fruit to round fruit comparison at least, Let's have a look. What were the development costs of the Concorde that, is basically the original concept of the point-to-point travel that Virgin Galactic is doing. So if we are Googling the development costs, you can see it basically, this is the first article that you can see here by Wikipedia, and it's by you know, there was let's say a nice cooperation between British Airways and Air France, and they, you know, invested with the government together into this project, and it was for many years, you know, the fastest airplane that civilians can go to and travel. Now, here's the thing: Concorde had considerable difficulties that led to its dismal sales performance. Cost had spiraled during development to more than 6 times the original projections, arriving at the unit cost of 23 million in 1977, equivalent to 1,430 pounds in million. All right. So even then, and let's see how much this is exactly in today's dollar money. It's about $200 million for development of the airplane. Now, it makes sense, right? So even if, and we had still $250 million left, so maybe they will really build this airplane and will really asset the costs to that, because this is a bigger market. And I can imagine that in the boardroom of Virgin Galactic, Shamas sat down, the chairman of Virgin Galactic, Richard Branson, all, you know, coming together and saying, guys, now it's the perfect time to raise money, and let's put, you know, a big amount that we need, and sit together with people. And the engineers said, look, we need maybe like 700 million to make everything working, right? And they said, let's raise $1 billion. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it quick. Now it's the time. The stock is up. It will go even higher, much higher in the summer, so we can sell over the summer. And it's a great also way to make the stock not to overheat. Every now and then there's some drops of stock going into the stock market, which leaves the stock a little bit, you know, not too much excited. And they will have a huge announcement saying, you know, maybe in the Q2 already, all right? Q2 could be somewhere in July or August, when they say, you know, we are using the $1 billion for that. Because think about it, they have enough money, so it must be something, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think it could be. I'm super pumped. I think it's like a crazy move by Virgin Galactic at the perfect time. And that's why I love this company, guys. I love that company.